Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. A little bit of a different angle here, see how it works out. So, I wanted to do a quick overview of a movie I saw last night, and that is Cloverfield Paradox. If you've been keeping up on social media, or if you're into horror movies at all, then you'd know that during the Super Bowl, which I didn't watch, I'm not a sports guy, besides wrestling, which really, I guess it's a sport, but it's, staged, so I don't know how much of a sport it really is. Anyhow, during the Super Bowl, they had some kind of commercial for Cloverfield Paradox, supposedly. I didn't watch it. And they said, oh, it's out right after the Super Bowl on Netflix. So, good promotion on their part. Probably cost millions and millions and millions of dollars to have that spot. But, so, the first Cloverfield movie, just to recap, this is the third in the series. The first Cloverfield movie is a found footage horror film. And then the end of the movie, you get a glimpse of what are these weird, sort of like bug-like alien creatures that are destroying the city. That's the first movie. The second movie, which is my favorite, is called Cloverfield Lane. And it's John Goodman. He's got these two people, I think it's two, haven't watched it in a couple of years, trapped in his house. They're trying to get out. They don't understand why he's, trapped them. Do I want to give away the ending? I mean, it is a few years old now, if you haven't seen it. So, in the end, the aliens are outside, and he wasn't so much trapping them. I mean, he was, but as he was more protecting them from going outside and getting killed. So, you do see the alien creature things again in Cloverfield Lane. So that's how it ties in. But the movie isn't found footage. Cloverfield Lane plays out like a sort of thriller with some mystery type thing mixed in. I liked it a lot. I thought it was pretty good. So the third one now is a space story. I'm going to make sure that this is tight and isn't going to fall while I'm driving. Seems pretty good. The third one is a space story. So there's a team of astronauts in space. One's an engineer, one's whatever. They're all different. One's the pilot, whatever the hell they are. And the name of the movie kind of gives away what the main plot of the story is, and that is that there's a time paradox. The movie's called Cloverfield Paradox. And something happens where they go through a paradox, and now things are changed on their end, and they don't realize what's changed and what isn't, and there's someone, you don't know who you can trust on board and who's part of what time period and stuff like that. It wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was like a super big part of it, but there's like this underlying feeling of like, all right, who can I trust here? Everyone seems a little like they may be out for their own gain. This guy's against that guy. Is he really bad? Or this guy type of thing. So, well, that guy just blew that red light. So, anyhow, you don't know who to trust. Then they find someone on board. You don't know where they're from. So there's stuff like that happening. Overall, I thought the movie was all right. It wasn't great. It felt a little longer than it had to be, and I don't know if that's just because I found it kind of boring in like some spots. Out of all of them, I would say that the second one is definitely my favorite. I'm not a huge fan of found footage in the first one, but they have grown on me over the years. And then the space one was good, the Paradox one, but I don't know, it wasn't very good to me. It was okay, like, it was an interesting story, and like, you don't, and then at the end, things kind of unfold, and you're like, oh, okay, but I don't know, I just didn't like it that much. It was alright. I'm trying to think of what I can say without giving away too much. I would say one of my favorite characters was, Chris O'Dowd, I believe his name is, from the IT Crowd. I was a big fan of that show, the British version, and he was Roy, and he was very funny, so I liked him. There's a woman who's the main actress. I want to say it's Sherry something. I always mix her up with Kerry Washington, but I don't think that's her. They just look similar to me for some reason, I guess, but it's not. That's definitely not. I think it's Kerry Washington, the girl from Watch Dogs. It reminds me of her, but it's not her. Yeah, I mean, I thought the special effects were done well. I thought the team was fairly interesting, like you don't know who to trust. But, again, it wasn't like some amazing film. It was pretty good. I don't know. What did you guys think of Cloverfield Paradox? I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give it away, but they tried to kind of mesh different tones in the movie, so that was cool. And, you know, it all kind of comes back around. There was this article on Bloody Disgusting where they mentioned that there's an explosion on the ship at a certain part of the movie, and in the first Cloverfield movie, there's an explosion at the same exact time. So you would assume that what's happening in space is happening at the same time the first Cloverfield movie's happening, and that it's, you know, it's changing what's happening there. So let's say something happens and something falls from the ship and crashes. I'm just giving an example. It's happening then in the first movie at the same exact time frame. So that's cool. If that's what they were going for, which I think that's what they were, that's cool. I think the second movie sort of takes place after all this crap happens, but I could be wrong. They said the fourth one is supposed to come out, I think, in a few months, or by the end of the year or something. They said it was this year. So I think. So that's pretty interesting. I will commend them for the people making these movies, that each movie is completely different. And I think that's really interesting, that they can say the first movie's found footage, a horror movie, you know, the second one is a thriller where these people are like captured and tied up in a basement or whatever, in a shelter with John Goodman, and the third one's a space story about who you can and can't trust, and like, you know, things happening on the space station and on Earth and this and that. So it's weird to think that they pulled off three separate, very distinct movies and made them one story, sort of. But I like that. I think that's really, really interesting. I hope the fourth one is some kind of like romantic comedy. Or what else could they go for? I don't know. Romantic comedy between the aliens, and the aliens are just trying to find love, and that's why they're destroying Earth. I don't know. I was trying to think like something funny that they could go off with that would be like, really, this kind of movie now. I don't know how far they're going to stray again, but it would be really interesting if they just did something off color now. But I'm not even sure if they're different directors on each film, to be honest. But it seems like there are compared to how the movies are made. So, yeah, what did you guys think of Cloverfield Paradox? Number 2 still stands out for me as my favorite. I think this was an interesting concept, and, you know, the way they marketed it from what I read was interesting, but just didn't completely do it for me. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.